Sorry.
Chris Graham, Daily Mail. Obviously, Kate, if I'm right, this is your first time back in Portugal since you returned back to England. This must be very emotional for you. How are you feeling right now, and what do you hope to achieve with this particular visit?
I did feel quite apprehensive and nervous, but for me, it's a good thing to do, and I've wanted to come back to Portugal for a long time. I think it's positive, and I think it's an important day for us, and particularly an important day for Madeleine and the search for Madeleine, because we've come here really to try and further the search for her. I mean, we just want to find Madeleine, and I believe this is a good place to be to try and help the search. And I think this might be a turning point in the search. So I guess emotionally it probably doesn't have quite the same impact as going to Praia de Luz, but I believe it's a good thing to do.
Hello, Kate and Jerry. I would have plenty of questions to put you, but as we don't have time to do it, I would like to ask you, Kate, particularly Kate, you and Jerry, do you want and do you have any hope to reopen the file here in Portugal?
I mean, really, we just want to improve the search to find Madeleine. We just want to find Madeleine, and whether that involves reopening the case or not, it doesn't matter, because we just want to improve the search, and we want to ask as many people as possible really to help us. We want people to believe that Madeleine's alive, because there is a very good chance she's alive. I'm sure you'll be familiar with the recent case of J.C. Dugard in America being found after 18 years. And I just think it's so vital and so fair for Madeleine that we don't give up on her, that we look for her and we try and find her. And I guess I'd like to encourage people to help us and to help Madeleine, you know, and give her a chance, because she can't find her way back to us and she deserves to be home.
We haven't talked since you've read the file because of the blog. I would like to ask you if there was anything that surprised you most, even concerning the Birmingham results. I'm aware that you've already read what is in the file. What do you have to say concerning that? All the evidence that the Portuguese PJ said they had. What did you saw?
Well, I think the most important thing to say is that the evidence that's been presented by the PJ and the prosecutor to the judiciary, and the judiciary, having reviewed all of the evidence, have said that there is no evidence that Madeleine is dead, and there's no evidence to implicate us in her death, and that's the message really which we fully expected to come out after the files were published. And from our perspective, the most important thing is that Madeleine probably still is alive and is out there, and you know, we're asking people to help us continue the search and help us look for her.
Do you have investigators searching for Madeleine?
We have a small team of investigators led by a senior ex-policeman, a British ex-policeman, and they have been going through all information, and any information that's been sent through to us either on our website or indeed through the Find Madeleine website or indeed through the helpline number. And obviously there's been hundreds and thousands of pieces of information which continue to be worked through, and I'd like to emphasise I'm not the investigator, David Edgar's our senior investigator, but when it comes to the point where there is information that needs acted on by the police, that information is passed to the authorities, and we want to work with the authorities and continue the search. And I think probably in relation to the file, you know, we would love to discover evidence that would open the file. That'd be great, but the search is continuing whether the file's open or not, and we're continuing to look for Madeleine. And as I said, we want people to help us. You know, she's Madeleine's an innocent little girl who's still missing.
And they are working in Portugal?
They're based in England. They'll follow up information wherever we can. and that information will be passed on to the appropriate authorities if and when jurisdiction is needed.